joined in the studio now by a just about thawed out Sam Spooner. Brutally cold for players today, Sam.
Yeah, I think there was a few people at the pub trying to thaw out and with a nice pint there. But yeah, it's a very cold day today.
But the hockey went ahead, and in the Bridgewater's Men's Cup, one game was tight, one certainly wasn't. Harlequins A-0, Vikings A-11, which you were playing in.
I was indeed, yes.
You were indeed. And Ramsey A2, Bacchus B2. Ramsey A won 4-3 on Flicks.
Yeah, we'll start with the Ramsey A game. And Bacchus B, Andy Neal's been back in the Bacchus B fold for the past couple of weeks. Played a midweek game against the first team. Scored a brace then as well. And he's come into the Bacchus B team today, and he's made a difference. He's making a difference in that team. Ramsey A probably were the favourites. I had them down as the favourites. And I thought Bacchus B were going to get beaten today. But no, Andy Neal came up with 2 goals. Ramsey A's goal scorers are Nat Smith and Patrick Woods. Unfortunately, Ramsey A ran out 4-3... fortunately, Ramsey A ran out 4-3 winners on Flicks. But Bacchus B can be proud of their effort there. A couple of weeks ago, they were getting beaten by Vikings B, who are bottom of the league. But the past 2 games, they've done really, really well.
And Vikings A11, Harlequins A0.
Yeah, the scoreline doesn't really reflect what actually happened in the game. Harlequins A had periods of the game where they did dominate. They had 10 minutes in the first half where Vikings were almost panicking a little. Had a couple of chances on goal. Nothing really clear cut, but they were dominating for a little while. And in the second half, it was the same. They had 2 5-minute periods where they looked very dangerous. But Vikings A today, they just proved too good. Their class going forwards with Al Birch with 3, Steve Crow with 2, Archie Cayley with 2, Tom Wilson with 1, Nate Evans, Aaron Watson and Eddie Cayley all with 1 as well.
Moving into the men's plate, it was Castletown B1, Valkyries B5.
Yeah, this one, Castletown B, I think we're always going to struggle a little bit. I thought they might challenge a bit closer. At half-time, it was only 2-1 to Valkyries B, and you thought maybe they could scrape something out of this game. But Graham Brown scored one for Castletown B. Valkyries B, Chris Thomas returned to form, 4 goals today. He did miss a flick, but he got his hat-trick, so he's not going to be too worried about that flick. And Alex Freer with a fantastic first senior goal, so really well done to him.
I think I remember you saying in our lunchtime preview that Vikings C were a strong side, and they proved it today with a 12-1 win against Bacchus C.
Yeah, I said in the same thing as well. Bacchus C are an experienced side. Mike Flowers got the goal there for Bacchus C. For Vikings C, just looking at the goal scorers, Andy Harding with 4, former Ireland player and former Premier League player. Ian Perry with 3, he's always been a strong player. Ash Osborne, Kyle Watson is an up-and-coming young player, very good young player. Morgan Naylor, Raj Sandhu, new to Vikings fold this year. Richie Gelder, and I have to say, Dave Gimbert. Rare goal for Dave Gimbert today, so well done. Man of the match there was Morgan Naylor, another young lad.
And finally, Saracens A4, Ramsey B0.
Yeah, Saracens A, I had them down as favourites for this game. They're doing very well in Men's Div 1. Ramsey B from Men's Div 2, although they're top of the league, these are the types of sides that they've really got to come up and try and challenge. But George Powell with a well-taken hat-trick, Tom Dalton Brown finished off scoring for Saracens A. And I have to say, Paul Hunter loves a yellow card. He got another yellow card today. It seems to be every game.
Moving into the Bridgewater's Women's Cup, we had 4 ties here. One of them was close and the others, again, were not. So we'll start with the close match. It was Castletown A3, Bacchus Colts 2.
Yeah, and when you look at the team sheet that Bacchus Colts have, they've got former Ireland players right the way through that side. And Niamh Goddard, a former Ireland player, got 2 for Bacchus Colts there. It was 0-0 at half-time. But Castletown A, they probably had the share of the attacks, and they spent a lot of time in the Bacchus Colts half. And they had scorers from Jane Pickard, Hannah Leese and Danny Kelly.
Right, these other matches, I think it's safe to say that it shows that league positions don't really lie with these ones, even in cup matches. So we've got Bacchus A10, Harlequins A1.
Yeah, Harlequins A, like I said, they've been struggling all season, but their effort has been fantastic. Bacchus A always started this one as favourites, with 4-1 at half-time. Catherine Crane with 4, Sophie Hudson with 3, Ellie Pearson with 1, Rosie Quine with 1, and Helen Thomas with 1 as well.
Next up of the thrashings, Ramsey A11, Vikings B0.
Yeah, this game was the other game where it was Premier League versus Div 1 opposition. Ramsey A, I thought they were always going to run out winners here. Vikings B, they're third in the division below, but good on them. And Bacchus Colts are putting themselves in the cup against opposition that's going to be better than them. It's going to be a hard game for them. Charlotte Oldfield with 5, Megan Roberts with 2, Danielle Stout, Maddie Dunlop, Leah Crow, and Julie Chesterton all with 1 for Ramsey A.
And finally, Valkyries A 1, Vikings A 11.
This one confused me a little because Valkyries A are probably the only team that are really in a position to challenge Vikings A, and they've probably been the team closest to Vikings A all season. But it's just a sign that Vikings A have the unseemingly endless number of gears that they can step up. And 8-0 half-time scoreline, and I thought at that point it's definitely game over, and it proved to be. You got 3 hat-tricks for Vikings A here. Kim Carney, Georgia Fox and Sarah Blackman with 3. Kirsty Cooper and Daddy Coombs with a goal each. Valkyries A did get a consolation, and they celebrated it very, very hard. Carmina Covanda getting that goal there.
And moving into the women's plate, finally, Ramsey B 2, Saracens A 3.
Yeah, I said this one was going to be a close game, and it proved to be. It was 1-0 to Saracens A at half-time. Ramsey B came firing out the blocks in the second half, and I believe they took a 2-1 lead with Maria Tramontana and Becky Weimar. Saracens A, though, never gave up and just came out winners with their 3-2 victory through Sophie Howland and Helena Allen with 2.
And finally, Valkyries C 0, Castletown B 3.
It's a sign that Valkyries have had for all season that some weeks they've been able to field a really strong side, some weeks they've struggled to get players. This week they have only had 10 players, but Donna Shimon, she always gets the best out of her players. She always gets players that want to play, and regardless of the situation, they always seem to put a team out. So well done to them and Donna Shimon as well. Casstown B, it was 1-0 half-time score. Glesney Corney with the goal in the first half. She completed a hat-trick in the second half, at which point with 11 minutes to go, the game was called off. The result was pretty much decided at that point, and the goalkeeper was a little frozen. And I suspect a lot of goalkeepers are frozen in games today with very little to do with the one-sided scorelines.
Yeah, something you can empathise with, I think, there probably.
Yeah,
Sam.
absolutely.
Right, do we have cup draws ready, or is there some prep needed? No, we're all ready to go, are we?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll start with, Tony's going to do the draw for us, and we'll start with the Bridgewater's Men's Cup semi-final.
Bit of a change for you, Tony.
It is, isn't it? Never do a football one. Number 4.
That is Ramsey A.
And they will play number 3.
Vikings A.
Next one out is number 1.
That's Valkyries A or Bacchus A.
Number 2.
Against Castletown A. And then we'll do...
So that's the Men's Cup.
Yeah, Men's Cup. So a good game. Ramsey A versus Vikings A. That should be a really, really good game, actually. Vikings have struggled sometimes against Ramsey A this season, so I expect that to be a close game.
Okay. Go to the plate.
Yeah.
The first one out is number 4.
And that is Saracens A.
Number 1.
Against Harlequins B.
Number 2.
Valkyries B.
And the last one is number 3.
And against Vikings C. Again, another good game there, Valkyries B, Vikings C. Another good one to look forward to.
Okay, Women's Cup is next.
Number 2.
That is Bacchus A.
Against number 3.
Ramsey A.
Number 1.
Castletown A.
Number 4.
Vikings A.
Okay. And we'll go through all of these again at the end, by the way. I'll just mention them all. And finally, the Women's Plate semi-finals.
First one, number 2.
Harlequins B.
Against number 4.
Castletown B.
Number 3.
Saracens A.
It should be number 1, and it is.
Versus Valkyries B.
Okay, so Men's Cup. Bridgewater's Men's Cup. It's Ramsey A against Vikings A and Valkyries A or Bacchus A against Castletown A. In the Men's Plate, we've got Saracens A against Harlequins B and Valkyries B against Vikings C. Women's Cup, it's Bacchus A against Ramsey A and Castletown A against Vikings A. And in the women's plate, Harlequins B versus Castletown B and Saracens A against Valkyries B. And those matches are to be played, Sam?
We don't actually have a date set for them yet. We've got a little bit of a backlog, nowhere near as bad as a football, I might add. But we've got a few games to try and squeeze in. I think some are being squeezed in on Good Friday. But we haven't set dates for those yet.
Okay, thank you, Sam.